Good evening, everyone. Appreciate your being out here on rather short notice. Well, the news is certainly out there as I have followed it this evening, so I know you know the news, but to underscore what we put out in our media release and what I sent out to the community at 5:30 this evening, Brad Stevens has accepted the position as head coach at the Boston Celtics, and we are extremely pleased for Brad. That's a wonderful opportunity with frankly a storied franchise that is hard to argue with the reason somebody would be attracted to it. Brad has done a tremendous job for us. Obviously it'll be a loss for us, but we move ahead with a lot of confidence. We've had a long tradition here at Butler. We've been very fortunate with our approach that we've taken to our men's basketball program. We certainly wish Brad all the best. And one of the reasons, frankly, that I feel very confident is the person sitting to my right, Barry Collier, who has done a great job leading our program. And with that, I guess I'd ask Barry to provide some comments as well.
Well, thank you, Jim. I too would want to first thank Brad for all his great effort and success that he's had here, and wish him the very best with the Celtics. I think it's a great opportunity for him, but in that same way, it means that he's leaving our program. And while we have every confidence that our student athletes and our program will continue on without skipping a beat, we appreciate Brad and we've had a special relationship with him, and that will continue. But in the meantime, our opportunity to keep our program going and continue to represent Butler in a great way is there in front of us, and so we're excited about that piece and our future. But it is a day that we want to salute Brad and begin our plans moving forward. We've begun the search already. There's not a lot to be appropriately commented about that, other than we'll be back to you when we have a new coach. But having said that, Butler is a great place, and we have an excellent program that has been possible because of the efforts of lots of people, our student athletes and our coaches, and that will continue. Well, without going into any details, this came about today. We literally have learned about this earlier in the day, called together our student athletes, met with them, and then notified you folks and others all at once, and then called this together. And so it is a somewhat sudden thing, but in today's world, that's how a lot of this works. And we know that good days are ahead for us, but this one happened pretty fast, and you've always, if you're doing your job, you've always got a plan B, and so we'll execute that. Yeah, there wasn't Brad. You have to appreciate Brad. He's not a what can I get out of this guy. It's a special opportunity that he had, and we've done everything we possibly can to keep him. It wasn't really, some folks will write about maybe some different things or comment about it, but the fact is that Brad is a very bright, very articulate, and a wonderful, wonderful person who handled this as well as he's handled everything else you guys have seen him do. So I feel like this is something that he wants to do, and we're going to support him in that. The one thing that you certainly know if you get to work with Brad is that he's a great coach and a wonderful person, and we have not tried to do anything but support him through that. And that means that in spite of the limited capacity that ADs have, that there is a recognition that he's a special coach, and organizations in basketball would recognize that same thing. So I think that there's always a possibility that somebody that good would go to coach at another place. We feel very fortunate. When you think about this, Brad Stevens has coached at Butler for 13 years, and he learned the Butler way when he came here and had that first opportunity as a volunteer, having left Lilly and a marketing job that he had there. And so he was in the same process as a lot of the people that come to us, student athletes that come to us. And I think that, you know, obviously he has had his impact during that time when he was an assistant coach, and more visibly, but equally impressive and more, it seemed to me, every year. Surprise, yeah, timing. One thing about coaches leaving collegiate institutions, there is never a good time to do that. Tell me when you're supposed to ever have another opportunity in your life. And, you know, it just doesn't, there's not a time, because the job is 12 months and it reaches back into recruiting for years in advance, and you've got your own team in any given year that's got players coming back, student athletes coming back. And, you know, that's kind of where our focus is right now, is to shift from, you know, what was to what will be, and who's going to be here. And so, you know, Zach, it's really kind of a mix of all of that. You don't want it to, you know, to occur necessarily, but you've got to be realistic about the world. I think we've been real fortunate to have great candidates within the Butler family, and you know, time will tell on that, what happens next. But you know, the Butler way is somewhat unique to us, but the principles are available for anybody, and then we're not the only ones with them. We practice it in a way that maybe is a little unique, and but to the extent that it's a way for us to be successful, you know, we look to continue that. And the team that we have, the teams that we've had, and our future teams will all benefit from living that and playing that way, and being great teammates, and thinking of others first, and having great commitment, and all that goes with the Butler way.
When did you know that this was going to be a different sort of situation, that this was something that Brad was really interested in?
Well, today, really. I mean, it was, you know, there are, Brad did not make a decision until he had talked to me, but at that point, it was, you know, that was his intent, and it was clear that that was what he wanted to do. He had given it great thought. He was, you know, torn, but also excited about that opportunity.
You've obviously had to, if I can use the phrase, fend off other schools that have been interested in Brad. How stunned were you that the Celtics were interested in Brad?
Not stunned. You know, you can imagine, Brad and I have a really good relationship, and he's, you know, shared with me with every opportunity that he's had, you know, any interest in, and that's been more than this one. And so, but you know, I think that it's a unique opportunity for him. I mean, you know, there are some brands in sports, and in the world of basketball, the Celtics are one of those. I would counter that in collegiate athletics and collegiate basketball, Butler has a brand, a very strong brand, and it's an attractive place to be as a student athlete and for a coaching staff.
I asked you when you hired Brad, but you're done coaching?
Well, I thought about this, and I you know, came here to announce that Brad had taken the coaching job with the Boston Celtics, and my announcement also would include that I hired myself as basketball coach. And it took me that long to fire myself. You know, I think we have a lot going for us at Butler, and Butler athletics and Butler basketball, and so you know, I'm hearing already. I haven't heard the other direction. I'm only hearing that, you know, I'm in from our fans and our folks that like the way. And there's, you know, there's something about what we do and the way we do it that is very appealing, and that, you know, as a salute to the student athletes that we have, the way they play the game and how they represent Butler.